don't just make jumps for the sake of jumps. You need to earn the right to put more weight on. You need to earn the right to do more reps. I want to be able to get better progressively every year as long as I possibly can. I want to be able to train the way I like to for my entire life. Gave out. Well, it looks like you guys liked me enough to where they wanted to bring me back again. So if you didn't watch the leg day video, another quick intro to who I am. My name is Nick Bagley. I'm a personal trainer here at Destination Dallas in Allen, Texas. Last time we took you through a leg day. This time we're going to take you through a push. So we're going to kind of go through the same thing, showing you how we work up, how the workout's structured, how we choose the exercises, how we warm up, how we get everything working properly so that we can get the most out of it to get as big as we can. Today's mostly going to be chest focused. I'm doing arms on its own day, so it's just going to be chest and shoulders. I tore my labrum in a car accident about 2 years ago, and I have to really be careful with what I do. It's been a long time since I've been able to do overhead pressing, but I've actually finally started to be able to work that back into my program by doing the warm-ups that I'm going to show you guys. Part of making sure that this shoulder is going to work properly while I'm doing this is my scapula and scapula function. So your scapula are your shoulder blades, and they sit over your rib cage, and they have to be able to move. It has to be able to float over your ribs, and part of being able to have that range of motion is being able to have thoracic extension and flexion. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to use a foam roller. I'm going to do a T-spine stretch for extension. So I'm going to take this foam roller and put it in the middle of my back. And I'm just gonna kind of relax over it, take some deep breaths, and as I breathe out, I'm gonna try to relax over it a little bit more, try to let those muscles loosen. The reason we're doing this is to get myself into a proper chest alignment. I need to be able to thoracically extend to get in that proper position, as well as get my shoulder blades set. I put my hands behind my head so that my neck's not just like flopped over, but I'm not like holding it up. I'm just kind of gently letting it hang out in my hands so my neck muscles aren't taking over. And I'm just kind of relaxing over the foam roller, taking those deep breaths, and as I breathe out, relaxing over it more. So to make sure that my shoulder is moving properly and healthy and mobile and everything, I gotta make sure that my scapula can move in all directions, up, down, forward, and back. So elevation, depression, protraction, retraction. And we can take those and kind of combine them into a circle. So the way that looks, I'm gonna shrug up as high as I can. I'm gonna roll forward as far as I can. Pull back as far as I can, and back up and over. So go forward a few, go backwards a few. So in order to get that internal external rotation and work on how much internal external rotation we can get, I'm gonna take my hands and I'm gonna put them at an angle like this. I'm not gonna have them straight out to my side. I'm gonna bring them forward slightly. And I'm just gonna rotate at that shoulder, just like that. And I'm just kind of gently pushing into those. Not straining it, not trying to like yank it down into a range you can't get to. We're just kind of very gently putting some resistance against that muscle as it tightens up. Now the thing that I see wrong is people want to roll the shoulders forward or arch the back like this in order to get that full internal and external rotation. All I want is rotation right there. Now for any of you who are familiar with Joe Bennett, hypertrophy coach, this is where I got it from. So before we go in the comments talking about that guy doesn't know what he's talking about, yes, I got it from Joe Bennett. The next thing is going to be arm circles, so we start to combine that internal and external rotation, so your humerus going around in that ball and socket joint in here, and then my scapula moving is arm circles. So I'm sure you've seen people do this, but we're going to be doing a more mindful, slow, and methodical approach. So I'm going to start with my hands in front of me. I'm going to reach as far in front of me as I can, letting my scapula open, and I'm just going to go in a circle. So every direction I'm going, I'm trying to reach the whole time. So we've gotten the scapula to start moving around a little bit. Now we're gonna get it to use a little bit of weight to protract and retract so that when I go and start doing my first pressing movement, I can make a better connection and get it set to where I want it as I'm pressing forward to keep my chest in proper position So we're just gonna come over here, do a really light row. And what I'm gonna emphasize is the protraction and retraction of my scapula. So protract, retract. So I'm really gonna try to let that open up and stretch forward and contract as far back as I can possible, trying to feel those muscles working the entire time. Another big component that we need to have is strength and external rotation. So what we're gonna use is a cable to set this up. I'm gonna have my arm out to my side. So if this is completely out to my side, we're gonna go about here and we're gonna do the rotation back just like that. This is completely out to the side, a little bit forward, rotate back. Keep that movement right here where that humerus sits in the side of the scapula. I'm not doing any of this. My elbow stays in position like it's fixed in space. This isn't about how much weight can I externally rotate. So like you don't need to be trying to increase on the stack here. This is just about getting those small muscles to fire to kind of hold your shoulder into place. Because there's not a lot of bony structures that keep your shoulder there. It's musculature and ligaments and tendons. So if all that stuff, if those muscles are loose and not strong, it's really easy for that shoulder to get out of place and then cause a lot of issues and a lot of pain. If I don't do stuff like this, pressing hurts. So this is one of my favorite movements for chest. I love this machine. By having these different pegs where I can put the plates and overload different parts of the strength curve. So the way we have this set right now, I'm gonna put most of the weight on the bottom peg so that there's less weight here and more weight here so that my shoulder is not being pushed down into a position it can't handle. So that was just a warm up. We're gonna work up to a top set, so my absolute heaviest weight that I can handle for 8 to 10 reps. As the weights go up on my warm-up sets, the reps come down up until that very top set. This is the weight from last week. We got 10.5. So I'm gonna add 10.5, see how that goes. So 8.5, we hit the lower end of the rep range. So what that means, next time, we gotta hit this again, try to get 10 before I can move up. So that was the top set, max amount of weight I could do for that rep range. We reduce it by 20 to 30% and hit a little bit higher rep range. So I'm gonna go 12 to 15 on this, get a little bit more volume in, then we'll move on to the next exercise. Don't understand why people put shit like this on the fucking pegs. Nobody puts their shit away. Overshot it a little, so didn't quite get the range. I was supposed to get 12 to 15. I got 10.5. So again, just like last time, stick with the same weight until I can get that into the range. We don't just make jumps for the sake of jumps. You need to earn the right to put more weight on. You need to earn the right to do more reps. So next time I'll come back in, do those both those same weights, see if we can't get more reps out of them. Moving on to a dumbbell bench press. I like to put dumbbell second so that I get the heavy stuff out of the way over there. I don't have to go quite as heavy here where my shoulder is in a little bit more of a compromised position because there's so much more that can go on with dumbbells. By starting with the heavy stuff over there, I can go a little bit lighter here, put a little less stress on there, but still reap the benefits of this really good movement. This is what I would consider a low incline dumbbell bench press. So we go a little bit lower so we can get a little bit more of that flat type movement. I don't really like to go all the way flat. It's just a real low incline here. Helps get that upper part of the chest. Same structure as what we just did. Warm up to a top set, back off 10 to 30% depending on how hard that top set was, and then hit higher reps on the second one. I got 110 for 12 last time and 90 for 15 on the back off. I'm gonna stick to the 110s and earn the 120s. If I can get +1 or +2 from last time, it's progress. And then that'll also tell me that I'm a little stronger than I was prior and can make that 10-pound jump. Not quite. We were close. So, call that 11.5. I didn't quite get the lockout on that, so glad I didn't jump to the 120s. Still got work to do here. We made good progress over there. Made a good jump on the prime, so I'm not mad at that. We'll keep the back off the same as last time, 90. Did that 15 again. Our dumbbells, unfortunately, after 100 pounds, jump up 10 pounds each time. If you have the same issue with your dumbbells where you're getting really strong and they start taking really big jumps, just go with a +2 or something like that from last time before you jump to the heavier dumbbell and get buried by it and then can't recover from it. Little under again, still not mad at it. If it happens a few more weeks, might be mad at it. We start to transition into shoulders with this press. This movement, high incline Smith machine press, it's gonna hit all the way across the top here. So it's gonna get my front delts, and it's gonna get those fibers at the very top of your chest that attach to your clavicle and to your sternum. It's more shoulder than it is chest, but it still does get some of those upper fibers. So it's a great way to kind of transition away from mainly chest work into shoulder substitute. So I don't feel the need to do a ton of reps right now because I'm already really warm from the other 2 pressing movements I've done, but I want to feel the load so that my nervous system is ready for this. So I'm going to do one more warm up before I get into my top set. And the way this is set up, whatever bench you use is just one back from completely vertical. When I get down to the bottom and I'm at 90 degrees, my elbow and my hand should be in line. So we don't need to be in here and we don't need to be like this. And I'm only gonna come down to just a little bit below 90 degrees. I don't need to come down and touch my chest because again, that's not a good position for your shoulder to be in. The rep scheme on this is a little different. I'm not doing top set back off with this. I have 2 sets of 10 to 15. I'm trying to pick a weight that I'm gonna fail at 15 reps. Keep it the same, try to at least get 10, hit failure in that rep range. Shit. Don't get caught up in the weight. I have to tell people that all the time because they feel the need. They're like, oh, I feel like I need to be stronger to start with you. It's not the case. It doesn't matter. Your strength doesn't matter. What matters is it heavier than what you were doing before? Is it more than what you were doing before? The weight matters as much as it's more than I did before to give my muscle a stimulus to grow. Without that stimulus, you're just gonna be in here wasting your time, looking the same year after year, month after month, day after day, never changing, never getting better. And that's not what we want to do. Gave out. I like these because the real big limiting factor to this movement would be my wrist. It's like if I'm holding on to a handle, if I can't hold the weight, like if my shoulder can do it but my wrist can't hold on to it, then I'm gonna be screwed. Or if I'm using something that's really heavy, my wrist may give out before my shoulders do. So using some cuffs like this is really helpful. As my arms start low and go high, like I'm gonna make a Y, like when I'm doing YMCA. With the cable setup, you want to set it up so that there's constant tension from the top to bottom. If you set up too close, it'll be really heavy at the bottom and really light at the top. And if you set up too far, it'll be really light at the bottom and really heavy at the top. So you want to try and find that sweet spot. It may take you some time to kind of play around with it, but once you have the arm settings down, write it down so you can replicate it. And then just find a comfortable position with the bench so you're kind of a moderate distance from the cable so we have that constant tension the whole time. It's different from like a cable lateral where we're coming straight out to the side or like somewhere in this direction. We're coming back this way. So by doing that, it's gonna target a little bit more of the side and rear delt. When looking at my physique in like a side shot, the front delt is more pronounced, and that transition from like side to rear doesn't have a lot of shape. So by doing this and coming out of that direction, I can target that muscle a little bit more, try to get a little bit more depth there so that my shoulder is more rounded versus having a sloped look. We need the most complete looking physique as possible, and we want big round shoulders. So training in a different range of motion is really important.
Go.
If you're doing those right, that should be on fire. The thing that I think a lot of people miss with movements like this is it should be just as heavy and just as challenging as your pressing movement. So don't go into your lateral raises or your single joint movements and forget to push them. My shoulders feel really pumped right now. We're gonna finish them off with 2 sets of 12 to 15 on the standing lateral machine over here. A lateral raise is still a really good movement to train your shoulders. The problem with a dumbbell lateral raise is the strength curve on it. It's heaviest up here, and down here at the bottom, there's not a lot of tension. So with the dumbbell, you really only start to get the full load from here, because gravity goes down, it doesn't go left and right. We're missing out on some of the strength curve. If we get stronger here and here, we're gonna get bigger shoulders. So with a machine like this, we are gonna have constant tension from the bottom to the top, and taking it up higher rep, 12 to 15 to finish off, it's a crazy pump to finish off, and this feels really good. I use straps on this one because, again, just like over there, I don't want my wrist to be the limiting factor on this, and I can go decently heavy here. Best cue I can give on this to make sure that you're using your shoulders is lead from the elbows. I don't want my hand doing the work. So if I put the strap on there, I don't have to think about my hand anymore, gripping the handle. If I think about my hand, the first place it's gonna go from there is my wrist, my bicep, and then my shoulder. So while I'm trying to move it, I'm gonna be gripping really hard. My forearm's gonna give out, and my bicep's gonna give out way before my shoulder does. So if I'm thinking about leading with that elbow, keeping the elbow above my hand, I can get a little bit more focus into that delt. Gotta finish strong. I got 12 or 13, something like that. But hope you guys find this helpful. Hope you watched the whole thing. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow the Instagram. I'm always posting stuff. We'll have some more videos coming for you soon. Thanks, guys.